Hi guys, so in the last lesson we looked at the different types of intermolecular forces. Now that we understand that, we are going to look at the two other factors that influence your intermolecular forces, and we are going to be looking at how to answer your exam question. So this is a very important video. Let's jump in. So we already know that your physical properties depend on the strength of your intermolecular forces because of the energy required to break the bonds between the molecules. And the strength of these bonds, the strength of your intermolecular forces, are dependent on three factors. Firstly is the type of intermolecular force. So we are going to be looking at the different functional groups. That's what we discussed in the last video. So remember, your London forces are the weakest, and then your dipole-dipole and your hydrogen bonding is the strongest. And then we also have the molar mass, or the number of carbon atoms. That is the second factor, the size of your molecule. So what happens is, as the number of carbon atoms increases, the molecule becomes larger, and larger molecules have more electrons and a larger surface area, and this strengthens your London dispersion forces between the molecules. So as the number of carbon atoms increases, the intermolecular forces become stronger, and that means that more energy is required to break the bonds between the molecules, and that leads to a higher boiling point and a lower vapor pressure and a higher melting point. And the third factor is your branching. So straight chain molecules can pack closer together. If we look at this, you can pack them closer together, and that leads to stronger intermolecular attractions because your branched molecules have a more compact shape, almost like a circle. So they can't pack as closely together as your straight chain molecules, and that reduces the surface area of contact between molecules, and that results in weaker intermolecular forces, and that means less energy is required to break the bonds, and that results in a lower lower boiling point. So I like to think about it like this. My number of carbon atoms, let's look at that, or the mass. Let's say I have two tiny fridge magnets and I hold them both 2 centimeters apart. The attraction isn't going to be that much. But if I use bigger magnets and I use industrial magnets and I hold them 2 centimeters apart, the force between those two magnets would be huge. I would struggle to keep them separate. And you can think of it the same way. So the bigger your molecule becomes, the stronger the force between them. And for me to remember the branching or the straight chain, how that affects the strength of your intermolecular forces is, I don't know if you guys have ever made pancakes and flapjacks. So your flapjacks have a much denser dough, if I can put it like that. So if you pour it into your pan, it doesn't spread out so much as the pancake, and it takes a lot longer to cook through because there isn't a lot of it touching the surface of your pan. So your pan can only heat what's on top of it, so it takes longer, while your pancake batter, sorry, I said dough, I meant batter, your pancake batter spreads out across your pan. And because of that, because of the fact that it touches a lot more of your pan, it cooks much faster. So that's how I remember those two. So when it comes to your questions, all these things are important to write down. So because sometimes they give you 4 marks, and sometimes they give you 2 marks, and sometimes they give you 3 marks, and they aren't always consistent as to what they give marks for. So rather write down the whole thing. I know it's a lot of writing and you guys are very lazy for writing, but rather do it. Rather do it and not need it, than need it and not do it. So you're going to write down the factor that you changed. So if they give you, they're going to give you a table with different molecules. You can see a lot of examples in my study guide. You are going to say, this is what they changed. This molecule is branched and that one is straight. Or this one is has a higher molar mass than that one. And then you have to say, it leads to stronger intermolecular forces or weaker, depending on your how you started. Stronger intermolecular forces, it takes more energy to break the bonds between the molecules, resulting in a higher boiling point or lower vapor pressure or whatever. So name all 4 those things. And when they change the functional group, make sure that you mention what type of intermolecular force each molecule has. So write down, this one is an alcohol that has hydrogen bonding. This one is a ketone, so it has dipole-dipole. And then you say the hydrogen bonding is stronger than the dipole-dipole, blah, 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 the whole thing again. And if you are dealing with a carboxylic acid and an alcohol, make sure to mention that your carboxylic acid has 2 bonding sites, while your alcohol has only 1 bonding site. So if you can just remember that, you are going to be fine in your test. If you just stick to that recipe. The only exception, and this is very important, is that branching usually lowers the boiling point, but the effect on the melting point is sometimes different. So highly symmetrical branched molecules can sometimes pack more efficiently in a solid state, which may increase the melting point. So that's the only exception, is with your melting point. So just, and your branched molecule. So just make a note of that. But otherwise, that is all you need to know about answering the questions on the intermolecular forces. The other way they can ask this to you guys, which is also important, is to remember that the factors, those 3, a lot of times they ask you this question as a experiment, and they ask you what is your different variables, your dependent variable and independent variable. Remember, the factor is your independent variable, because that's the thing that you chose. You changed that. You chose what you wanted to change. And your dependent variable depends on that. And your dependent variable will always be your physical quantities, because that's what the physical properties, that's what you measure. And that is affected by those 3 factors. So please, guys, remember that as well. That is just my last little nugget of information that I threw into the end of this video, and for those who stayed until the end. And all of this, examples, the analysis, the summaries, all in my study guide.